to the Busy Moms Fitness, Nutrition, Mindset, and Accountability community. We go live in this community the first Thursday of each month. The second, third, fourth, and if there is a fifth Thursday, there is no live training here, but there is a new episode of the Empower Her Wellness podcast that is being dropped. So every single week, you have an opportunity on Thursday to receive new content, new trainings, new information that you can learn and both implement. So make sure that if you haven't checked out the Empower Her Wellness podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, all of that, go ahead and check it out. We've got about 5 episodes out, I think, at this point. We've got another one dropping next week with one of my really good friends, as well as coach that I highly respect, Danielle Uteritz. So make sure to check that out next week. So you can also listen to those podcasts, but you can also tune into YouTube and watch. So sometimes we will be talking about like diagrams and things like that. So it may be nice to kind of tune in and watch as well. So today's free training, we are going to be diving into quick and easy lunch ideas designed for your busy life. Whether you're a mom on the go, a female entrepreneur, you're working from home, or just you're juggling a million things and you know that lunch is a real struggle. You're really good at like making sure you get the kids' lunches made, but you are suffering. Hey, Nicole, I see you joining in. Hey, hey. So as we are here, I want you to do exactly what Nicole did if you are here live, is make sure to drop who you are, where you're from, and why you tuned in today in the comments. So we're going to talk about some of those maybe sticking points or those challenges or those struggles you may be facing with lunchtime. I'm going to give you solutions. I'm also going to be sharing some of my cheat sheets if you listen for the secret word. And I'm not going to say it now because then you would just drop the word and stop listening. So I'm going to drop it here in a little bit. But today we're going to talk about how you can create some quick and easy meal ideas. Today's training came from your poll, what you wanted to learn about. I did a poll in the group probably about 3 weeks ago now, and I asked, what do you want to learn about? I gave some ideas, and this was the most voted on. And I want to do trainings of what you want help and support and freebies and all of that on. So let's get started. One of the biggest challenges that I hear from women and moms is I don't have enough time to make lunch. I get it. You are either worrying about the kids' lunch and you're not able to do your own, or you're just focusing on the never ending to-do list. The kids have hot lunch, or you're just grabbing that protein bar because you just have no other option. And one of the simple tricks, and I say simple because the thought of it is simple, but sometimes the action behind it can be a little bit more challenging. And we'll dive a little bit deeper into it. But something you can think about is prepping ahead of time. And I talk about our meal prep and planning boot camp. If you want to learn about that, just drop boot camp in the comments below and I'll send you the information. You can do that boot camp at any point throughout the year. But if you set aside time on a Sunday or the night before even to like 10 to 20 minutes to create some staples for the next day or for the week, what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to save decision fatigue in the moment. You're going to have better choices and you're going to be less tempted to go through that drive through, grab that protein bar that you know you may still feel hungry a little bit after. So some things that you can do, one of my favorites, and I know Nicole has started doing this as well, is just plain shredded chicken that you can doctor up however you would like throughout the week. So for instance, I did, I think, 2.5 chicken breasts in the Instapot, 18 minutes, high pressure. When it was done, I took the top off, drained all the liquid, and then I took my hand mixer and I shredded all the chicken because I'm not gonna hand shred it. I used my hand mixer. And then I took a portion of that and I turned it into high protein chicken salad that I snacked on all week. The other portion I just kept plain, and I've been putting barbecue sauce on it one night, some honey mustard one night. I made it kind of a Mediterranean bowl one night. So you can doctor it up. And by creating that, I have a high protein lunch right there without thinking, oh, what's the best option here? What do I have to have? Because there are quick and easy staples such as tuna packet and canned chicken, but sometimes we want to make sure that we are getting we want to eat something a little bit more whole food wise, and that hasn't been canned, that hasn't had a lot of sodium, extra sodium. So that's just a really easy way to prep some shredded chicken in advance, kind of get that done and use that in a multitude of ways. Some other options are you can pre-chop your veggies, you can make some wraps. I do suggest when you do your wraps, don't put your dressing or condiments on because it can make it kind of soggy. Same with your sandwiches, but like you can build your sandwiches out for the whole week. Smoothie packs also if you're around that. Okay. So again, Nicole, I usually drain the liquid just because it gets so messy. But it's up to you. If you notice you cook it a little too long, I never like pour the liquid down the sink. I just pour it into another container because I can always add it back in. And there's not a lot of flavor in that liquid, but I always shred it without the liquid in there because it just goes all over the kitchen if I don't. So that is one of the biggest challenges that I hear is I just don't have time to make lunch. So by planning ahead, and we talk about that in our 21-day control your day challenge, the plan tomorrow today, this technically falls into that. Or maybe you're a Sunday planner. Whatever that is, pick a time where you're going to plan what your lunches are going to be so that you know what's going to happen and you know how to stay ahead of it. Another common problem that I see when it comes to grabbing a quick lunch is it's often missing key nutrients. Like we're either missing enough protein or fiber, or we have something and we realize we don't have those things. And how we know that is we feel hungry sooner or we're really tired. We have a lot of carbs and we don't have enough fats or proteins. We end up with that blood sugar spike and that crash, and we end up exhausted at the like within 30 minutes. So it's important that we have a good balance of all these foods. So a balanced lunch should have protein, healthy fats, and fiber. And that fiber is that carbohydrate area. We want to look for, a lot of us aren't getting enough fiber in our diet. As females, we should be getting 20 to 25 grams of fiber. But the thing to remember is fiber is like protein and just like your water. If you are currently getting zero and you go to start eating 25 grams, you're going to start to feel some digestive issues. Your body's kind of got to work up to it. So track your food, figure out how much you're actually eating, and slowly, gradually increase that. But ways you can do that is a simple formula of palm-sized serving of protein, a fist-sized serving of vegetables, a thumb-sized serving of healthy fats like avocados, nuts, nut butters, things like that. And then small portion of whole grains to kind of get some of that in. So that can look like some quinoa, some brown rice, just kind of depends on the meal. And there's a ton of things out there right now of like the little glass containers that are kind of single serve. You put them on a cookie sheet. You make like a single serving in each glass container, and you bake it. I have a few recipes saved that I haven't actually tried yet. So when I do, I will definitely share them along. But it's a really good way to have these single serve that's already cooked. All you got to do is rewarm it up. So another thing you can do is you can make turkey wraps or veggie wraps with a side of hummus and fruit. That's all going to take less than 10 minutes to assemble. The only reason that wouldn't take less than 10 minutes is if your veggies are not cut, or if you don't have the veggies and you have to go pick them from the garden or go to the store. So that is the other common problem that I see. The other thing that I see is a lot of times when we don't have a plan, we resort to two things. We either resort to fast food option or gas station, or just not eating at all. Both are, I would rather have you go through a fast food and fuel your body, even if it's not the highest quality stuff, than not eat. When you don't eat, it is really hard to keep that energy up and it's hard to repair our muscles and it's hard for a lot of things. So it's important that we are fueling our body, even if it is with that fast food and it may not be the best option, but I'd rather have you fuel your body than not fuel your body. So by relying on takeout or that fast food, what happens is we can then, if that's where we're relying right now, can we flip that around and start relying on packable lunches, ones that we can make in advance that are not going to go bad throughout the week? And here's the thing is when you prep, I think there's a lot of times we think about meal prep and planning. We have to eat the same thing for breakfast, lunch, and dinner all week long. No, you can make like two servings of this. You can make two servings of this, and you don't have to eat them the same days in a row. Because I do understand when you make the same thing, you get burned out on it really quickly, and then nobody in the family wants to eat it, and then you feel like you're throwing it away. So when you were thinking about this, think about packable lunches, ones that you can make that can be fully packed, that literally all you have to do is open up the fridge, grab it, and put it in your lunchbox and go. So if you are still here and you are listening, if you would like to grab my cheat sheets, which I'm going to then show you here in a second, drop the word cheat sheets in the comments below. That is the secret word today. And I will send you a message and you will get access to those cheat sheets. Nicole uses those all the time. Her and her whole family love them. So let me do a little screen share here so I can show you what exactly I'm talking about. Because Nicole and I also call these the secret sauce sheets. I've got different names for them, kind of depending on who I'm talking to. but it is 11 sheets, and it's anywhere from snack combinations to lunch combinations to just on the go ideas. The point of this is for instance, this first sheet says high protein snack combos. Chicken salad with crackers or as a sandwich, that can be a lunch depending on your portion size. For instance, a tuna sandwich with vegetables and hummus, that is more of a lunch. But you can also break it down into, let's say you make it as lunch, but you can't eat the whole thing. It could be also be a snack. So take all these, think about portion sizes behind it, and they may not be labeled lunch, snack, breakfast, but just think about, does it fit a meal? Is there enough food here for it a meal, or is it more of a snack type of size? There's a secret sauce to fueling my family and I'm so happy. I love it, Nicole. I love that everybody's on board with it too, because that makes it, and you guys have even created your own. They've like taken these and they've made their own type of secret sauce sheets. So in here, you've got ideas of a tuna sandwich with veggies and hummus, a bag salad with additional protein. So maybe I've got a client, she's a teacher, she buys enough bag salads for the week, and then she has protein that she keeps in her freezer that she pulls out. So she's got her veggies and she's got her protein right there, and she's got her dressings. So she's got all that combination. Maybe you're going to do buffalo chicken wraps in bowls. That you can turn that plain shredded chicken into buffalo chicken very easily. Maybe you're going to do tuna and chickpea pita pockets. You get the little pitas, cut it in half, use half that pita, stuff it with tuna, mixed with a little bit of mayo, with some chickpeas and whatever vegetables you have. Like there's a ton of options, and there's a bunch of different ways here. So for this one, you've got your combinations here. Nicole, I like that. You and your daughter split the bag salads for the day. That's perfect because you really don't need that whole bag salad. I think there's technically like 2 or 3 servings in there. Usually Mike and I will split the salad because we don't need the full bag. But there's times where like just really craving a salad, I'll eat the entire bag. But just know that if your body's not great with raw vegetables, I don't suggest eating the whole bag because it can cause a little discomfort. But as you kind of go through, there's a bunch of different ways to look at this. So you have the plus plus equals. You have the pick one from each category. You have the protein, your fiber rich carbs, and your fats. Like there's a ton of different ways to build a lunch here. And there should be enough. And do I think that it should be popcorn, hard boiled eggs, and chocolate? Should that be your lunch? Probably not the best option, but if you have that, it hits all those categories. So it's thinking through what are the best carb options and that also balance your day. So if you are somebody who struggles with vegetables, I highly recommend getting a vegetable at lunch and a vegetable at dinner. That fist size serving, getting at least 2 of those fist size servings. And instead of trying to eat it all at dinner time, really try to get one of them in at lunch. Same thing. So there's 11 sheets here. You're going to see down here towards the bottom, you're going to see like tuna, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, shrimp cocktail, edamame. Costco's got a really good frozen of edamame. It's a 12-pound big bag. Inside the big bag is individual bags that you just pop in the microwave. Super awesome source. Protein waffles. You can make them over the weekend. So let's say your family's a pancake or waffle, make a bunch of them, breathe them, and just pop them in the toaster as if they're an Eggo. So another fantastic option. And then down here, these last couple pages are just different brands and ideas. This Epic protein bar is really good. I've noticed the pork and the beef tend to be a little bit more oily, but it makes sense because there's fat in them, whereas the chicken one seems to be a little bit drier. So that texture kind of changes, whereas these chopsticks are pretty the same across the board. So down here, you'll just see different brands and options because sometimes we just need a different perspective. We need to look at things differently. So if you would like access to these, I will send you a message. All you got to do is drop cheat sheets in the comments below, and I will send these to you. So as we kind of go through here, let me stop sharing and get back to the main screen. So if you have any questions, keep dropping them. Nicole, you're doing fantastic. If you have questions as they come up. So we've talked about the problems. I've given you some solutions, but like, let's talk about how to implement it. Because I can give you all the solutions in the world, but if you don't know how to implement it, then it's not really going to it's not going to help you. So number one, let's talk about set aside time to prep. And this can be the night before, this can be a Sunday night or a Sunday morning. I like to do it during football season. We'll have the games on and I will go grocery shop. I'll plan out our meals. I will then make our go grocery shopping for anything we need, and then I will cut some of those staples for the week. And sometimes that can mean getting vegetables, washing, cutting them all. That can mean pulling the grapes off the vines and putting them in a container so we can actually grab and just have a handful of grapes. Because if grapes are on the vine, I don't eat them. That's just what it is. I won't eat them. I'll let them go completely bad. Maybe that's just prepping my proteins. I've learned that if I prep my breakfast, my lunch, and my dinner, and I eat the same thing over and over again, that I just get so bored. And yes, it takes the decision out of it the moment of, and it saves me time, it saves me energy, but I just don't look forward to my meals, which then means I end up snacking, end up finding different snacks because I'm not feeling satisfied. So with that, I do try to do a good job of thinking through of what are the staples that I can kind of mix up and create different flavors and balances throughout the week. So I'm not just here eating a burrito bowl every single day. Don't get me wrong, I could eat a burrito bowl every single day. But that plain chicken, for instance, plain chicken, you can doctor up each day to make it look a little bit different. So set aside time to just create a few staples. And maybe you just don't have the time and you know vegetables and you know fruits are a struggle. Buy a veggie tray, buy a fruit tray, buy the already pre-cut, pre-washed things. I know Meijer's got a section, like just buy them. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's going to save you time and energy and it's going to help put you in control. And that kind of goes into number two, which is batch cooking your favorite. And some other things that I will batch cook for the week are rices, quinoa. I don't really like to batch cook pasta because I find it gets a little too rubbery towards the end of the week. But depending on what it looks like, I'll just make it for the next day. I may not eat it on Friday, but I may eat it on Monday. Any proteins you can ground up like 10. If you buy a bunch of ground beef and you're like, tacos are huge in our family, ground up all your ground beef, taco season it. Once it's completely cooled, put it in Ziploc baggies of however serving is best and freeze it. Because once it's already cooked and it's in the freezer, it defrosts a lot quicker. And all you got to do is just warm it up just a little in a pan or in the microwave, however you see fit. So that's a really good way if you have a day where you're just like, I'm just going to batch cook a ton of stuff. Like taco meat, beef freezes really nicely after it's cooked, after it's been seasoned. So it's a really good option. Number three, make sure you have grab and go containers that actually work for you. So often, I don't know, I find that like lately I've just been grabbing like a bowl and a spoon, and then I have to worry about that in my car if I'm going somewhere. So making sure you've got good Tupperware with a top. Um, Rubbermaid does, they've got these plastic ones that kind of all stick together with ice packs. Those are really nice for like your lunches if you're traveling or for your kids' lunches. I can, if you want any of those links, I can definitely share those. Just drop grab and go containers below, and I'll send you some of the ones that I'm thinking of. I do prefer the glass containers because I can microwave them. And a lot of, if you get the good quality ones, you can also bake in them, which I was talking about those single serve dishes. That right there is a really good way to just make single serve in those dishes and rewarm it on the spot. Balance your meals. Anytime you're thinking about a meal, a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner, even a snack, we want to make sure we have protein, we have a carb, and we have a fat. And there is healthy fats in those eggs, and you're probably using oil. So it doesn't mean you need to add peanut butter and add avocado because you're already getting that healthy fat that comes in the egg and that it's cooking in that oil. But can we add a little bit more protein to those two eggs? Because that's only 12 grams. Can we add a little bit of cottage cheese or some yogurt? um, or some cheese, something like that. And then can we add some sort of grain or carbohydrate, whether that's a potato, a vegetable, a fruit, maybe it's sourdough bread. Sourdough bread's my favorite. And then our final one is have a backup plan. Because remember, life happens. So a few things to keep on hand. Nicole, I'm calling you out here because Nicole is trying so many awesome things. And she calls me yesterday, and this is just perfect timing. And she tried a recipe and she just said it did not turn out. And I was troubleshooting with her of like, it was an SOS, like, this sucks. How do I save this meal? How do I still feed the family? Because sometimes we forget. So always make sure you've got quick options on hand. Always have frozen veggies in your freezer that you can either throw in a pot or you can pop in the microwave. I always have the mixed bag of veggies. They're like 89 cents at Aldi. I always have those. Every time I go to the grocery store, I always restock on those. I always have canned tuna. I always have canned chicken. I always have eggs. Like I always have some staples. There's always some sort of rice or pasta in our house because if for some reason life doesn't go according to plan and you're sitting here like, I don't know what the heck to make, I'm struggling, whatever, you can go to those and know that you've got your bases covered. The other really cool thing is I will do another training on it is there's some AI apps out there now that will help you create foods when you just don't know how to create an idea or a food. So that's going to be next month's training. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that in a really awesome way so that it kind of takes some of that decision fatigue out. So finally, let's talk about why it matters, and then we're going to wrap up here. So why it matters is taking time to plan and pack your lunch gives you the control over what you are eating. You control what you are eating, and the more that you can make it, prep it, be in control of it, the more likely you are to hit your goals and stay on track. Whereas, yes, you have the option to go out and get Subway. Well, instead of getting the foot long, get a 6 inch and double up on the meat because we really don't need that full foot long, but we may want that extra protein. There's ways to be in control when you eat out as well. And we can do a training on that as well if you guys would like it. But it's important because you have control over your eating and what you put in your body. And the more we can prepare for that, the better. It's also going to save you money and it's going to ensure that you're fueling your body with what it needs. A balanced lunch is going to keep you energized. It's going to reduce your afternoon cravings. And it's going to help you stay on track with your health goals. A lot of people who skip breakfast or skip lunch or who eat very light in those meals tend to be big snackers at the end of the day. We raid our pantry, we look for salt, sweet, all the things. So the more you can have balanced meals as soon as you wake up, trying to get 20 grams of protein at each meal, trying to get it like if you can get that down, and I help people with that every day. So if you would like help, just drop me in the comments. But like I will help you create this so that you're also enjoying all your foods without having to give them up. The other reason this is important is like this doesn't have to be complicated. We overcomplicate everything all of the time when it comes to our nutrition, our diet, our exercise. What's the right thing to do? Oh, this thing's out here, that thing's out there. Stop making it complicated. Start looking at your meals. Are you getting a protein? Are you getting a fiber source? Do you have some healthy fats? Awesome. Check. Okay, next one. Like it doesn't have to be this big elaborate thing. Just start to like be aware of what is happening. So as we wrap up, remember, if you would like access to those cheat sheets that I showed, drop cheat sheets in the comments below. If you have not tuned into our Empower Her Wellness podcast, I will drop the link in the comments. Check us out. We've got a new episode coming out next week. Super awesome. We're going to be talking kind of a variety of things on next week's call. So it'll be super great. And then you can look for us the second, third, and fourth Thursday of each month in podcast form. And then in this group, the first Thursday of each month at noon. So finally, one more time, if you have stuck around and you still have not dropped those cheat sheets, that word cheat sheets, drop it in the comments. I will send it to you. Be looking for a Facebook message from me within the next 24 hours-ish, and I'll get those to you. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining me here today. I know we had some people here on Facebook. Thank you for joining in, commenting. I saw a few of you did drop cheat sheets, so I will get those to you. Keep the conversation going. Drop pictures of your favorite meals. If you have other training topics you'd like to learn about, these trainings are for you. They're not just for me to sit here and just talk and teach for something you don't want. So if you have specific topics, you can either post them in the group, post wins, all that, or you can just share them with me individually. So have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.